Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel Techie Amrit. So I am here for my first video that I'm creating for you. This is like a technical channel, so I thought to create a first video that is like beneficial for the beginners, for the interviewers, because whenever we go for the interviews we want like easy and quick material, and the students when they go to exams they need like quick and easy material with the like valid examples. So uh, as per my slogan, more you the learn more you grow. So I want you people just to uh, go through my video. So if you are new to my channel, please subscribe my channel. I need your support so that I can update more videos online. So without wasting my time, I'll start with my new and the first uh, video that is on interfaces. So let's start. Okay, so guys, interface, this is the most common topic that we usually heard in the interviews, in the exams. So I decided to start with it. So what I will focus more on the practical part, lesser on the like theoretical part. I will give you theoretical knowledge side by side with the implementation part. So these are the topics that we go through this video session. That is, one is what is interface, how we implement it, there why we need it in our day-to-day life of programming, and where and how we are going to use it, and with a live example. Okay, so when we talk about interface defines a contract. Okay, so contract, uh, I means to say, uh, once I define something, a set of rules, set of like description of lines that are like necessary those who going to use it, right? uh, it includes the declaration of related functionalities. So what does it mean, related functionalities? I mean to say that whenever we are like programming anything, uh, they are set of guidelines, set of rules that are defined, so that whenever you code, you every coder or every developer keeps those things in mind. So we have to keep those things in mind. Like if I created I would say a class animal, and I would say that okay, animal, so it may have like some of the common properties. I think that must be like I would say a bird, animal have like its color, its like species. So depending upon the common characteristics, I will create a group of interfaces depending upon their functionalities. Rather, I would create like multiple uh, functionalities in one interface. So it's very good practice. Always create a single interface for set of related functionalities. If I would say, like, if I have to manage files, then I would say you have to either you read the files, either you write the files. So I'm managing file, I will keep my interface I manage file. So coming to next point, entities that implement the interface must provide the implementation of declared functionalities, right? So whenever we like creating the interface, right, so we only give the declaration part right? And uh, from the theoretical point of view, this is like a single line I want to demonstrate you. So let's jump to the our tool Visual Studio, where I will create a like a sample application, console application. I will create a like interface for you, and after going through one small example I will explain the remaining points with you. So let's jump to the Visual Studio. So guys, this is the Visual Studio, in which I have created like a console application. I have classes, I have interfaces with me, so I created two folders here. So whenever we are going to create any interface, always keep in mind that you should start the uh, keep in mind like the naming convention thing. Start with I, like I have created one I manage file. I keep the interface name I manage file, right? So always use I with the interface name, right? So I created a file, I manage file, where I didn't give any return type because by default they are like abstract and public. Public means to say that we don't need to specify any access specifiers and don't need to define any uh, body here. It's just a signature part, or we can say uh, the body part will be uh, written where we are going to use that interface. So I created a manage file. I created two methods that they're going not to return any value, like void read my text file and write my text file. So in order to use those this interface, it's like I have created this interface. So the class which is going to use this interface, right, must must implement all these methods, right? Must implement. So I'm using must implement. So it's like a contract, it's like a legal entity for me, like okay, whatever I have written you have to use that. So I created one class file information, right, where I use this interface. So keep one thing in mind, while whenever you are going to use like interface, always use this colon, right, followed by the interface name. Whenever you implement the interface, like suppose if I want to show you, I just show you one thing. I just commented this code, now it will throw error. Okay, you have to implement this. So what I do, I just click and implement interface. So it will create like a default template for us, and until we are not going to fill this. So this is the like the definition part we have created in the interface. Now we have to define the body part. So simply we just print any message here, like console read my text file, and this is my, just to hold the screen I add one more thing, console dot read key, so that I can show you the output on my screen, right? So if we want to see the output, we have to use this class in my program file. Here I just use that class file information, right? So why this it is giving me the error? Because I haven't passed the parameter text. If I have given, so I will use any dummy text. Okay, so without wasting time, just run this and put a breakpoint here. So you can see it come here, goes to this method, and you can see read my text file. So it runs on my first method. Now I try to, so you can see both the methods are run, right? So this is the normal usage. So how we are going to create an interface, this is the best practices, like use I always, they by default like public, abstract, uh, we whatever we have defined. Like if I add any new method to this class, then it will throw error to this class that okay, you haven't implemented a new method that I have added to the interface. So it's like a common functionalities we have defined to this class, right? So whenever you have a scenario, okay, that you have a set of methods and you have to implement, then always use interfaces. One thing you should keep in mind, that you cannot create a direct object of this class. If I try to create an object here, like if I say I manage file is equal to new I manage file, so we cannot, it will throw a error. Cannot create an instance of abstract class or interface I manage, right? And one more thing, we cannot give any modifier, access modifier with the interfaces, because by default they are public, right? So another thing, now you can see it is defined with keyword interface, cannot apply access modifier to interface. By default they are public and abstract. Interface contains property methods but no fields and variables. Now another thing I miss, we cannot create a constructor for interface. Always better to start with the letter I at the beginning of an interface. So some situations may be arrive that you may have to implement more than one interface. Like you may have a condition that uh, you have one interface, like this is my one interface I created, this is my second interface I have created, there is some method, my first method, and this is my second method I have created, right? And there is one common method I have created, maybe like on one interface some another developer or any coder have worked on same method name have been given. So and we are implementing the same both the two interfaces, both the interfaces in one class. So how the user will identify that okay, that which class or which interface method I have to call, right? So let me demonstrate it for you. I just created one class implement multiple interfaces where I again I use the word colon, as we know that C# does not support multiple inheritance, so it is only possible with the help of interfaces. So I use the first interface name followed by the second interface name. So uh, if I simply commit this code and try to see, as you can see this is common method, but I don't know for which class this common method will execute, right? So as you can see it shows me like uh, uh, this reference in both the classes. So in order to make it differentiate that okay, this common method is coming from this my first interface or from my second interface, it's very good to use uh, interface name dot method name, interface name followed by the method. So it is now clear that okay, whenever this method is going to call, so it have to call that method from this part of the interface, right? As these two methods are like different, so it doesn't create any issue. So how we are going to use those methods whenever like I have to access those methods. So as I said, if we have to use those two methods, then I simply go to this class, commit this code, comment out this code. I just simply create a class object of this class and assign to my interface of whom I want to use the object, right? I just created my first interface object and I use this method, right? Similarly I created object for this. Now in both, now if I want to see that okay, when I run this common method, for which common method it is going to call, either it is going to call the this interface common method or this one. Let's try and I show you. See, so it calls this method, right? It calls my first interface method. Coming to next, it goes to second interface. Now you can see it calls the second interface method, right? So this is how we can consume multiple interfaces. So if I have to summarize whatever I have just explained you, basically we use interface in those scenarios where we want like okay, we want to keep the generic things at one place, we want to reuse our code, we want to hide our code, we don't want to show the body part, the definition part to the user. And if I change like a method name at one place, it should reflect it at multiple places. The user don't have to do manual tasks. And so that's why in the video, starting of the video, I use the word interfaces defines a contract. I think hope you it is now a bit clear to you. Why? Because it's now a hard contract for us. Whatever we have defined, we have to implement it, right? So guys, this is it for the video now. If you like my content, as from the first video perspective. uh, I would really appreciate if you give me the like feedback from you, what more you want to see in my video content. So this is a small video. Okay, thank you. Please like and subscribe my channel, Techie Amrit. Thank you. Bye.